What About Vietnam? A podcast with Gary Newsom. The series where Kerry talks with travellers about their experiences and adventures. Find out more about Vietnam from the people who have actually been there.
What about Vietnam?
Whether it's adventure, exploring the culture and cuisine, shopping, or just soaking up the sun. Let Kerry and her travellers pave the way for a magical holiday in Vietnam.
What about Vietnam?
Xin chào and welcome to What About Vietnam. Time, as we know, is always difficult when you're planning a holiday. You only get so many holidays a year, and trying to pack everything into a trip is always difficult. And with a country like Vietnam with so much to offer, I hope you're enjoying this series with Miquel as he shares with us just some of the things that we need to consider when we're doing that planning, even things just as simple as planning in jet lag. Miquel Angel comes to the program, as you probably know by now, as head of the Human Resources and Quality Working Group inside Vietnam Tourism Advisory Board. He has some great insights to share. We talk about and we kind of focus in this episode around the Highlands. So that's in the north of Vietnam. And, you know, you could easily spend your 14 days, if that's the only time you've got, just in Hanoi and around some certain areas close to Hanoi. We do also talk about Phu Quoc in this, and that's very topical, coming up to its early opening to Vietnam in the next month or so. Please welcome Miquel to the show. What's your thoughts about the central region? What would you package in the central region?
That central region has a lot of potential there. And as we said before, I cannot put all these destinations in a 13-day program because there are the issue here in Vietnam is that it is so rich in terms of destinations, culture, food, minorities, and all this that make it impossible to put everything there. So in the central regions, let's go from Ho Chi Minh City there. Of course, you have Dalat. That's a beautiful, fresh village, 900 meters above the sea level. That's where all the French, during the French colonial period here, they were going as a retreat from hot Saigonese summer. And so there are there a lot of French-built villas and houses there. Actually, most of them are now turned hotels. Some of them really applying good sustainability principles there. So making 5-star hotel relais chateau style inside one of these houses where the emperor or the prince or whatever were living on that French era days. So that's a fantastic, and I've been there in some of them. Is absolutely beautiful experience with some outdoor heated swimming pool because it gets a bit chill during winter time, but that's fantastic. In Dalat, you have a huge market flower also there, export market flower to Europe. Huge amount of tulips that you find in the Netherlands are Vietnamese tulips.
Wow. And they have everlasting flowers. Don't forget that.
Absolutely. It's a huge.
I didn't think there was such a thing as everlasting.
And in that area, you have also a lot of natural resources and cascades, waterfalls, areas where you can even swim there in a safety way. And you have also other beautiful areas in that zone, like can be Kon Tum, for example, or Buon Ma Thuot, which are the two, let's say, the king and the queen of the coffee production in Vietnam, because Vietnam is the second worldwide coffee producer after Brazil. Many people don't know that the Vietnamese coffee is around the world. So when you move from Dalat to any of these villages, you either choose from Dalat, you want to continue and go discovering Highlands, means elephant rides, means coffee plantation, means all the kind of fruits and veggies that you've never seen, means minorities living in that areas, means spectacular 100% wood-made churches. Mm-hmm. There is one in Kon Tum village, for example. So you continue on the Highlands, you are bordering Laos, so there is a mountain range going between Vietnam and Laos, which is very thin.
Beautiful scenery.
Correct. So amazing Instagram lovers and picture lovers and people that love to take a motorbike and just see that valleys, that's amazing. Or either from Dalat, you drive down by car or by motorbike, if you are an intrepid one that you would like to go there, down to Nha Trang, which is also in the central part of Vietnam. And there you have now big developments, big hotels on the beach. You can stay there and rest 2 days in the mountain to discover, and another 2 days in Da Nang to recover from the elephant ride, from the trekking you did, and you keep living and enjoying your trip in the central part of Vietnam.
And I think the good point that you made about living. And because I see so many travelers of all ages getting to the point that they're struggling. They're struggling because they haven't taken into consideration the heat and the humidity. It's the humidity that just absolutely wrings you out. And if you're a Westerner like me, you're just not. I mean, Australia's hot, it can be, but not the same humidity. And, I think you're taking in lots of different experiences, and why would you want to consume them that fast that you can't have a minute spare to, sit down and have a lovely piece of fruit or, overlook a beautiful scenery. So in that central area, it's kind of interesting, isn't it? Because there's a few hot spots. You've got Hoi An. Da Nang is now becoming a very big city. Da Nang used to be a place where, for me, it was like, I went into Da Nang and then I went out of Da Nang. I never stayed in Da Nang. But
you should.
Yeah, now I do.
Yes.
Now I do. Yeah. So, the country is evolving at such a rapid rate. I mean, I can remember also, I was talking the other day to someone about Phong Nha.
Correct.
And, another region that is coming very much on people's radar. And I said, I want a way to talk about Phong Nha, but I think we have to do is, how long do you need in Phong Nha? Do you need 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4? And the guy said, to be honest, if you're flying into Phong, you probably need 3 or 4 days minimum. So, if the thing that we get most out of this podcast for my listeners, I hope, Miquel, is that time is the thing to plan with this trip. And I think, everyone can Google and look up, especially trips that include a lot of these destinations. And I probably jump to the north very quickly in how long it takes to get to places. I mean, there's all those wonderful pictures of terraced rice fields and all the rest of it. And people say, how far is that from Hanoi? And I go, about, 200 kilometers. And they go, that's nothing. Well, yes, it is. You'd need a day to get there and then a day to get back. And you probably need 2 to 3 days to get around to have a look at, some of the way the minority groups live, because there's still a lot of traditional markets and blah, 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 blah. And you're going to be tired walking up those terraces because you have to walk up some of them because guess what? There's just no steps and there's no paved roads and things like this. So, it's kind of chunking it down for people so that they can grasp what's achievable in the time frame. And we hope and we want them to come back and do the next region as a separate trip.
Time is always in your hands. So having a destination, I think, from like Vietnam, so close, to say close, from Australia, because you are not
8.5 hours.
Correct. So it's relatively close. And now with the flights also, Europe also is getting close, because now Middle East, many operators are flying too. So distances
are direct flights now.
Correct. Are getting easier to arrive to that destination there.
Yeah.
So the only question is that you need to say, okay, I have these 2 weeks now in 2022. Let's move next year. So these 2 weeks, I'm going to do the Highlands of Vietnam and the center. That's a fantastic choice. And you will probably still have areas to visit during that 2 weeks. Yeah. If you choose the north or the south, the same. So let's move to the south, to the north part of Vietnam. If you are landing in Hanoi, let's say you fly from whatever place in Australia, you arrive to Hanoi. So you have options there not to be missed. I recommend you arrive to Hanoi and you control your first day. If you want to take a nap afterward, and you don't book anything on your first day of arrival. No. You just lay down in the hotel if you want to. Doesn't matter if it's a 5-star hotel, that whatever, or a 1-star hotel, doesn't matter. Will be noisier, probably the 1-star, but just take a rest and just walk around a bit there and just done.
Do a walk around the lake, maybe.
Correct. Without any tour guide, without anything there. Let's say that you come by yourself or you organize a trip, but you organize the rest of the days a bit too. Yeah. So in Hanoi, you can get lost easily. 2 or 3 days.
And have a lot of fun. I think getting lost is the best fun.
A lot. Just think that Vietnam is, I would say, quite safe in terms of walking around, and people
I travel mostly on my own.
Correct.
I've never felt any issues.
Correct. So that's important, even for us living here. So don't go around just flashing your new iPhone 13 or your camera, wherever. But if you have a little bit of sense, yes, and you keep things there normal, you can take a picture, whatever. But by yourself here in Hanoi, these 2 or 3 days, plenty of things depending on what you like. If you say, no, I like to stroll around the old quarter and see all these, the bamboo street, the painting street, the funerary street, whatever, you get lost there. If you say you want to visit the Red River, nobody has time to visit the Red River. 600 kilometers just coming from China all along the northwest part of Vietnam, next to the train. That's amazing. Nobody visits that. There is also one iron bridge built by the Eiffel company that you can walk and cross the Red River. You cannot believe. I have some pictures of the last time I was there. I went to Long Bien Bridge just to walk up and down and take some pictures while the train behind you that's an amazing experience. No time. It's not in any program because you cannot put it there.
I know what you're saying. So Miquel, I think we've actually got the message very clear that everybody needs to chunk it down. And as you say, maybe do a Highlands one trip, maybe do the South and the Mekong another, maybe do the central area another, and maybe include some trekking, some caving, some, all of that sort of stuff. People might want to do more of a cultural stay, or some people might just want to lie on the beach. I mean, there's 3,200 kilometers of beach. So, there's plenty of beach stays. And, with the Phu Quoc Island opening first, I think even that is just a good display to people about what is available in Vietnam. And see, now when I went and visited that island, what I took away was pepper.
Correct.
I didn't realize that it grew the most amazing pepper.
It's out of the program.
Just run out of it, so I've got to come back.
You cannot visit. It's out of the program. No way.
My company put it in the program.
That's a must.
You need to go and you need to go to a pepper farm. I went, really?
Yes.
And the pepper was just fantastic.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
With it.
Correct.
It's amazing. Look,
here in Phu Quoc Island, you can also include them. Now talking about islands, we have Conda, we have Cham Island, we have Phu Quoc there. A beautiful place to visit is the bee farms in Phu Quoc. That's amazing. You cannot believe bee farms making natural, 100% natural honey.
Oh,
that's in your next visit. Many is not in the program. We cannot put everything there.
Thank you for listening. Check out the episode notes for more information.
What about Vietnam?
Don't forget to subscribe, rate and review, and stay tuned for more fun adventures in Vietnam.
What about Vietnam?